Hi, Mercy folks. This is Elina. I haven't done the format of a talking blog for a while, so it's super exciting to be back. Welcome to my balcony today. We have an unusual format, and I have this beautiful autumn view, so I decided to share it with you. I totally love the view around me, behind me. And today I wanted to talk about some things that I have derived for myself during the course of my life, about how to generate energy, save energy, optimize certain things in your life in order to have a fuller experience, I would say. So, well, I have been asking myself, what do I really want to do since I was about 23? I was consciously elaborating, analyzing. Lada, please don't cry up there, okay? So I was writing down the answers, not only asking myself the questions. Before that time, I was doing my bachelor's, I entered my first master's. I was, in a way, going with the flow. So I wasn't really searching for my own way, for my individual path that would be optimal for me, that would be ideal for me, because I somehow didn't think about it. Maybe I was too young, I don't know. I remember very well thinking of my priorities when I turned 22, 23, something like that, and I was taking part in my first competition, piano competition, that had 4 rounds, because before that time I was only participating in competitions that had between 1 and 3 rounds, and that was my first competition with 4 rounds, an international piano competition. So I was preparing about 2.5 hours of music, so 3 rounds of solo pieces, and the last one was the concerto. And since it was the first one where I had to prepare 4 rounds for, I thought that was really scary. And then I remember seeing a quote by someone, I don't remember who it was precisely, but the quote was, "If your dreams don't scare you, it means that they are not big enough." At the time, I was also working as a church organist. In fact, I was working as a church organist for about 13 years total in my life. And I took organ playing classes, I practiced. And at some point, I realized that maybe it would mean that I would need to become an organist, in fact. And I started thinking about it because I was taking classes and I was practicing several hours per week, a couple of hours for sure. And then I realized that I had to choose what to do, because if I would be pursuing a career as an organist, it would mean that I would need to diminish the amount of hours I dedicated to piano playing and to photography. I realized that there is just simply not enough hours in a day, in a week. And I thought, okay, what do I need to do? So I sat down, I was weighing my options very carefully and my own personal priorities, and I realized that pursuing a career as an organist was not what I wanted from life. And I'm not saying it's bad, by no means. It's amazing. I love organ. I love listening to the organ, going to concerts. But it was not something for me to do because I didn't feel like that's the right path. And I consciously set it as not a first priority. You know what I mean? So I had to choose, and the piano and the photography stayed as my first priorities. But the organ playing had to move to something that was after that. So I consciously stopped practicing organ, and I kind of stayed at the same level for the next few years because I was just working, but I was not improving my level as an organ performer. So that was the first conscious step of me being an adult and sorting my priorities, although the organ playing job brought me income. And it was not an easy decision, but I had to realize that I do not have enough time in my life to dedicate towards that aspect. So yeah, I prioritize piano playing, I prioritize photography, multidisciplinary projects, performing chamber music when I play piano and I collaborate with other musicians. However, I still had other jobs that I was doing because I needed the income in addition to the projects. And gradually over the years, I came to conclusions that I'm slowly diminishing the amount of things that I don't want to do in my life. So eventually, I made a decision to stop working at the jobs that I didn't love. As simple, as funny as it sounds, as true as it is. Of course, we all need to live, we all need to get paid, we all need income. That's why I was taking a huge amount of gigs and various contract jobs with a certain duration, all kinds of possible things related to music making in order to generate income. At some point, I was lucky enough to finish paying out my student loans, which is a horrible thing to have when you come out fresh of grad school, to be honest. And I realized that starting from that point, the money I was earning was actually for me and not just for the loan repayment transfers. So, I was earning money for a few years, which I didn't see. I couldn't use them because I needed to pay them back. So that was something that created a huge shift in my mind. Living a life without owing a lot of money in loans was an entirely new thing for me. I could look at life differently. I could look at my future differently, as well as at my goals and at who I was as a person, who I am as a person. So it's funny enough, but at that point I realized that money did not mean everything. There are other things in life that actually mean much more, and I didn't really realize that before the moment when I paid out my loans. My mindset was just different, and yeah, you might be thinking, girl, what was in your head? But I guess that was really, it had so much weight on my shoulders that I didn't even think about life in other terms. You know what I mean? I guess when you own repayments with interest, you don't realize some simple things. Well, at least I didn't. So I started really filtering my activities starting from that moment on and analyzing what was truly beneficial for me. Recently, I also moved to a new country, so that was actually super helpful for me to kind of start my life from scratch again, because I was not bound to a bunch of different things. I was starting fresh. So I was sizing down, prioritizing, filtering, and asking myself what is absolutely beneficial out of the activities I'm doing or I'm aiming to do. What do I really need to keep? And what am I going to get rid of? What am I not going to prioritize? Even out of the things that I really want to do, it's still too much because I want to do too much. I'm really interested in a bunch of things at the same time. And I guess one cannot just fit all of that into one's own life. So I gotta filter down even from these things that I really like or love to do. And I guess it's a never-ending story. I told myself that I was not gonna commit to things that I don't fully want to engage in. I believe that at some point one's gotta stop dedicating one's life to the things that are not absolutely beneficial for them. If an activity doesn't correspond to my personal or professional goals, if it doesn't make me a better person or a better artist, I would not agree to commit to it at this point of my life. This mindset was not created overnight. It took me years to come to these settings in my brain. And it might be sounding too harsh or too radical, but I believe that's the only way to actually cherish the energy that each of us has and only do the things that, like Marie Kondo says, bring you joy. She says that about things, items, physical things. But I think the same goes towards the activities in our lives, the activities we commit to, professional or personal interactions, relationships, and things like that. So these are the conclusions I came to as a result of a very careful prioritizing, a huge thought process and analysis. I don't think that there is a point when one can actually stop filtering, reevaluating, revamping. I think that stopping means the end of life because it's the end of the development. You know, that's it. I think it's like hiking in a way. I just love hiking. I love this example. It's when you climb towards the top of the mountain and you see the view from there, and then you realize that there are other mountains around. Maybe they are higher, maybe the views are more beautiful, and you want to see all of them and you want to climb the next mountain. That's the same thing. When you reach a certain stage, then you want to do more. And I think that means development, and that means optimizing and becoming better in everything you do. So with every step, I realize that there is the next step and the one after. And I believe that's the only way to improve and become better. And I believe that I can still tailor my lifestyle even more and improve it. And I think that each of us can do the same. Please comment below one goal that you want to reach, whether it's implementing a new habit, maybe changing a job, or looking for a new job, or entering a school, maybe learning a new profession, or a new skill, a new language. I don't know. What is it that you want to do? What's the one thing that is next on your list? And how are you going to do it? Are you going to, I don't know, set reminders to practice the new thing every day, or you're going to schedule some time every week, or you're going to maybe take drastic steps and move to a new country to study somewhere? Or what is it that you are really burning to do right now? I really want to know. Oh, and by the way, I'll have some major updates related to this subject coming up very shortly. Stay tuned for that. So share your goal. What is it that is your aspiration right now? Subscribe to this channel. Thanks so much for watching. Like this video if it was inspiring. I will see you in the next one. Bye.